Everybody freaking out right now. Hey, yo, what's up and welcome. It's me. It's Five. It's Chris. It's Ross. We're in the building.
First took away. Yes, with this. Get your money's worth now.
Wow.
What's popping? What's popping? What's popping?
It's
It's us. We here. Obviously, you see we're not here, but we represent for our dog. You know what I'm saying? First off the bat, man.
off the rip.
Shout out to Theos.
Hey, man.
Love.
Love.
You know what I'm saying? We got the pizza in the background.
They got their own
And
wine.
they got wine. That's love. We appreciate you. Like I said, it's me, it's Chris, it's Ross, it's Five.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all?
Popping, man. Could have been a better Sunday after a certain, team didn't
They
do
are
it.
who we thought they were.
Yeah.
They are who
You
we
got to
thought
come
they
back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
Be all right. Yeah. The defense look good.
It's hard to be mad at defense, man. They held that shit down for 3.5 quarters.
Shit. I mean, you hold a team in the NFL to what? 14 points?
15.
15?
15.
15? Oh, yeah, the 2-point conversion.
Gotta win.
I mean, you held them scoreless till halftime, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after halftime,
Yeah.
Man, it's hard to be mad at that, but I don't know, man. I'm trying to be positive.
Don't
What you got to
All
say,
right, don't
Chris?
be.
What's up?
I mean,
got something to say?
I watched the Pelicans. I watched the Pelicans hold teams to 88 points and lose. I mean, what?
Oh, true that. In a playoff game, multiple playoff games. Oh, serious.
Yeah. Keep the smoke. Let's keep the smoke consistent.
Yeah.
It's funny that Chris brought up the Pelicans because that's all I could think about during the game was like, this was a very Pelicans loss of like,
True that.
won a game you weren't supposed to probably, or the people that you didn't think you were going to win.
Yeah.
And now you lose today at home, a game you should have won. You absolutely should have won, but they're going to get the benefit of the doubt from everybody. Like, well, you're still 2-1.
Yeah.
Nobody expected you to be 2-1 before the year. It's like, no.
Brilliant, Ross.
This week is this week. You should have won. You should be 3-0. You get no pass from me.
Hey, the other day, me and Chris was talking about something, and he said,
"No, we wouldn't."
That's true. I would deny publicly.
Yeah, we don't have any conversations. We just pod.
But he said something that was crazy. He was like, I said something like I had expectations for something, and that man stone cold hit me with, "You a Pelicans fan?"
Well, yeah. What you got expectations for?
I was like, "Yo, that's crazy." We ain't got shit to talk about, but you know what I'm saying?
We're here.
But we here. That was the dot. But we here. Hey, chat. If y'all got anything y'all want us to talk about, you know what I'm saying? We could definitely run it. I hollered at my dog Five. He had some topics. It was good. He a brilliant guy. Shout out to Soul Brothers, man.
Yeah,
Tap in with them, man. You know what I'm saying? Get up with them. See what they doing, man. They're working on not only your physical health, but your mental health. And they trying to make sure y'all right out there. But yeah, man. So Five was like, we was trying to get some topics together, and we was thinking like the offense. You said what the offense gonna look like.
Yeah.
So is that from just a holistic standpoint of XYZ players in the lineup? How is it gonna look? Who's gonna run? How we gonna run what?
This all gonna make sense. Ross brings up a great point with, this is very Pelicans-esque loss, right? I think the Pelicans actually can learn from the Saints from just this standpoint, right? Give the offense to the offensive guy. Dennis Allen is more like Willie Green, like you're a defensive savant. I'll give you that, right? Like you have a top 6 rated defense back-to-back years. You know what you're doing. I can't take that away from you. You're good at that. Just give the clipboard on the offensive side to the guy that seems to know what they're doing. I mean, Clint Kubiak comes in and the offense looks like a relatively good football team. I think you have that in James Borrego where you can have a relatively good basketball offensive team if you just give him the keys and allow him to work, and then you can be good at what you're good at. Nobody's trying to take the team away from you. Wink, wink. But I think you could learn something from the Saints where, like, okay, you just give the keys to the people that need the keys and kind of go from there.
Let me ask you this. Let me give you some pushback on that suggestion. What if for the people who say the Saints today, when Clint Kubiak actually faced adversity, he didn't have an answer for it, and the people who correlate that to what has James Borrego done to earn the trust to get the keys to the offense?
Well, there's a game that we can point to where James Borrego had the keys and the offense looked great. They scored the most points in franchise history in that one game. I mean, that gives me at least a glimpse of what it could look like. But again, this is shout out to New Orleans.
Okay.
There's an opportunity for this team to have success, and don't take it away from yourself. When you look at a guy like James Borrego, when he was in Charlotte, that team got better offensively year by year, and he was dealing with a multitude of different things happening within the organization with players, injuries, off the court issues, a ton of different things. Hell, he got a couple different players paid just off the simple fact that like the offense was being run. Like it looked good. I mean, a couple of those times where he beat the Pelicans just because their offense was better. So I think there's an opportunity, and you talk about Clint Kubiak. This is the first time he's ever faced adversity. Well, yeah, it's his first time. You got to allow people to fail. And also, Derek Carr is his quarterback. So we've seen kind of the rise and fall of that.
Yeah. I agree with 5. I think, I mean, because the other side of that coin is like, let's just say he didn't coach that game that 5's alluding to last year. It doesn't matter because I've seen what the alternative is to handing the keys over, right? So like, you have a bad offensive situation if you don't hand it over. What's the worst that could happen? Like you just are bad again. I mean, offensively. So I mean, look, he was brought in to facilitate a 21st century offense, and now, while I think at times the roster gets like too much credit from like people saying how talented it is, I think the one thing it is talented at is like offensive versatility and shooting. And I think Borrego can certainly bring those talents like to fruition better than what Willie Green has in store can, or what Casey Hill or whatever other genius would run the offense.
Gotcha. What you think over there, Chris?
Nothing really. I don't see. I think that there's a chance that James Borrego could unlock things that we haven't seen over a stretch. That could 100% be true. But I also think we have a tendency, not just as fans or observers, or just as people, to, when something's going wrong, we like or we're interested in what, like the unknown. Like we have a tendency when things are average or things aren't going up to standard to say, oh, well, let me see what this looks like over here. And, I think it's at least Borrego does have some kind of offensive resume that you can point to, but we still don't know how it would work for 10 or 15 or 20 games or so on and so forth. We don't know the difference in between what Willie is currently putting together right now and what the players are actually choosing to execute. I think I could look at James Borrego and think, okay, well, like the idea of what I see, and 5 might know this a little bit better than all of us from, along with Justin and Lala, like being Lito in your time and being in, some of the, media day and some other practices that you have been to, and just how the guys seem to respond to James. The only thing I can think of is that if you 100% believe that guys will run through a wall for James, in combination with his creativity, in combination with what we've seen him do in different stops and the program, the tree of coaching that he comes from. If you believe that those players will respond to him and he's able to hold them accountable, and the players, because it's not just, I don't think it's just as simple as like I can say all day, 5, you gotta hold Lito accountable. And 5, you could tell Lito the same thing every day. Say, bro, you got to get up and run every morning. 6:30, we here. You got to get up and run. Tomorrow, the same thing. Hey, bro, what you doing? You got to get up and run. If Lito don't get out the house and decide to meet you at 6:30, it's not happening. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to see a longer period of, him even coaching like preseason game. Like I wish we had those type of opportunities to where similar to how in the summer league we get a chance to see assistants coach. I would want to see things like that so I could really have a stern opinion on not just what James can bring to the system with his ideals, but as a leader, what type of response he gets from the players that are there. Because that could be a bigger issue in totality with this organization. It just, you got some stubborn players that no matter who the fuck is there may not listen.
Man, hold on.
Let me. No, because I think it's a question that maybe you're going to jump into, and I want to ask you and Chris, because Chris, you started off by saying that, let's jump in the hypothetical world for a second, that maybe there are some things that James could unlock if he was given the keys, right, to the what are those things? 5. I mean, I know you've talked about this a little bit, but like if the keys are given over, what could we expect? Like, what would we be looking for? What would change?
I mean, again, I think you were right on the money where you're talking about like what I was about to say. It give you the foundation because you don't have one. And I think, not to keep alluding to like the Saints reference, we were all pissed last year when we saw the Saints play football because offensively you were talented enough to be successful, but you couldn't put anything together. You didn't have a foundation offensively. Either it was a check down or it was a long ball. And that's not necessarily how you play NFL football. Like, they didn't have an identity. I think with James, he'll give you an identity in the basketball realm. Like, we don't know what this offense is. We don't know what it'll look like. Hell, we in year 4? What is his offense?
It feels like 14.
Yeah, like we still don't know what it will look like. And as we all like to watch basketball, we can tell like when stuff isn't working. We don't have to see James Borrego operate the Pelicans offense to be like, well, what we got ain't good enough. And I'm not giving Willie Green a benefit of the doubt of another summer to put something together when he hasn't shown that he can do that. So I'd rather give it to the guy that's offensively gifted mentally, and maybe Willie can learn something from it. But it's almost like he's, cutting off his nose to spite his face.
What if the prospect?
Is that the right?
Yeah,
right,
no, that
okay,
was.
okay.
No, that was.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
What if the idea you said foundationally, like what is Willie Green's offense, right? How it was told to us was it was 5-second basketball, 0.5,
0.5 basketball, yeah.
0.5 basketball, motion and
quick reads, movement. Yeah, that's
a lot of threes.
Yeah. Do we lead the league in 3-point attempts? Nope. Do we lead the league in assist rate? Nope. So I don't get I don't know what it will look like. I can look at James and be like, okay, well, at least he has an identity of what it is, whether it's successful or not. That's to be determined. I think just putting players in the right position to have advantageous, rights at it. Like, I think that's a benefit that you can continue to work on. And then it won't change. How many times have we seen Willie Green's offense where one week is like this, the next week it's different? Well, there's no way to have continuity if things continue to change.
You don't even have to go weeks. You can say game.
Yeah, for sure.
You can say game. And it is all like, could be a derivative of who is out or who is playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it changes game to game. And that's where like the cohesiveness of the system is like constantly broken because like if Ross is been on a heater for let's say 5 or so games and Chris comes back from injury and now like Ross has to take a back seat, like how is he supposed to play?
Yeah, never that.
Talk your shit.
Talk your shit, Ross.
Never that.
Yeah, it's not for Chris. Fuck no.
Not if I'm on a heater.
You pull it.
Yeah. No. Not for Chris.
Oh man. I will say I think the Pelicans were 11th in assists last year as far as like team wise.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me see. I don't know what they shot. I don't know like as far as attempts.
I would bet that they were probably middle of the pack, maybe. Possibly not.
Y'all gotta also like, I need to know that the Pelicans have enough key and crucial players that want to be coached, and that individuals and that their individual strengths and wants will align with what said whoever the coach is asking from them.
What's the? I mean, Chris, to you,
Oh,
what's an offense that you think the Pelicans can be successful in? Like, is there a style that you like, or some team runs that you think the Pelicans currently suited can benefit from?
That's a really good question, bro. I like I think the lazy answer is like it's some form, ironically, of Phoenix. Like, not I won't necessarily just stay with Steve Nash, but even when Steve Nash left and like you saw like patterns of like Dragic taking over, or even when you kind of pointing at D'Antoni, Don Nelson, like those kind of guys that lean into speed, lean into pace, like know what they're giving up, know what their weaknesses are, and are okay with that, right? So I think we've been talking about offense first. Whatever that looks like, the ultimate goal is to get in transition. The ultimate goal is off of misses, we are out, because we know that our best lineups more than likely aren't going to stop teams in half court sets. We know that we have so many different individuals that need the basketball. Well, a lot of times the way to get over the fact that those guys won't have the uses that they're used to is to consistently being out on the run in transition, where good majority of all of these guys, all the guards, the wings that they have, are going to enjoy that. And I would say that leans into the smaller lineups. Like, if you know automatically that you're sacrificing rebound and you're sacrificing rim protection, well, what exactly should you lean into? Well, I think it's getting and going. I think it's getting up and down the floor. I don't even know if it's getting up as many threes as it's about them being able to put defenses in situations where they have to sacrifice something because the Pelicans are consistently on the run, or they're driving the basketball and forcing corner looks. So that would be my thinking, because and you talked about this a lot, and it goes into the Willie Green conversation. The problem is that it feels as if Willie Green wants to be good at everything, right? In his mind, he wants to be a good half court team, but he also wants to be a good team on the run. He wants to be really good defensively. He also wants to be really good offensively and shoot the three. Like, you can't. You have to sacrifice something. You have to be below average at something. You're just not going to be great at everything. And he hasn't figured out what that's going to be, and what suffers the most because of it, the offense. And in this world, it just can't be that way.
Before you respond, let me just say this. To what we were talking about just now about 3-point attempts. So the Pelicans were 24th in attempts at 32 a game, but check this out. In the last 5, they were 29th.
Yeah, when the games got close, you start to really see who the team really was, because that's not necessarily who they are. Although your average tells you you're 32 or 32 3 points a game and you're sitting at number 24, the Celtics told you, like, Joe Mazzulla said, all right, they were making threes in the first half. Like, all right, we'll see if they're gonna
let them do it.
Let them do it.
I'll be ready.
I'll be ready. And it kind of proved, like, okay, well, are you really like that? Right. Chris, you were talking, and really made me like stop and think, like, okay, what will this team really be good at? Like, what are you willing to give up? If you look at the Golden State Warriors when they were really good, like, the thing that they sucked at was turnovers, right? They to this day still suck at turnovers, but they were willing to do that because they were so explosive on both ends. Pause. That's a great pause. This also makes me think about the Pelicans in this sense. They can't be good at everything. So what are you going to sacrifice? Like, what will this team sacrifice? And also, when you get in the last 5 minutes, what will you look at? Because eventually basketball games, although they go for runs and runs, in the last 5 minutes, it's going to be a 5-point game, whether you're leading or you're trailing, and you're going to have to play half court offense and defense. And what is that going to look like? And do you have multiple plays off a similar action to get good looks? I don't care if you make a miss, especially beginning, but are they advantageous? Do they look like, okay, this is what we have an identity, and can they bring that to fruition? I don't know if this current team will be able to do that just yet.
I was gonna that's a interesting point, because I was sitting here thinking about, well, what kind of offense would I like? What types of offenses do I think we could be successful or similar? Play in a similar way. And I was thinking about the Mavs and the Bucks, who I think are both usually, or at least last year, I think we're both in the top 10 in pace. They both shoot more threes than the Pelicans do. But I think the biggest difference is just what you said, is that when it comes down to late in the game, there's an identity, there's a person, and sometimes your identity is tied up in whoever your best player is, that they know what they're going to do in the last 5 minutes, last 3 minutes, last minute when we need a bucket. And the Pelicans don't seem to have that. So even if I would love to see us play in a more similar, with a more similar pace to those teams, because I think we can, even from a personnel perspective, in a weird way, especially if you're going to start Daniel Theis at center, you're similar-ish to the Mavs, right? You've got a couple of guards that can really score, get up and down the floor. You've got, a defender out there that can shoot, and you've got a center that can run the floor, whether it be Gafford or Lively or Theis in our situation. And so I think you can play very similar to that. The problem is last 2 minutes, you need a bucket. We still have these big question marks. What the hell are we going to do? Those teams don't.
Yeah.
But I think there are avenues out there to change the way we play outside of those, last 2, 3, 4 minutes that can still make you a better team.
To that point, I was just going to say, my problem usually is they'll have an identity, they'll have a thought process. Say they, okay.
This motherfucker.
Shout out to New Orleans again.
The craxophone.
Last 5 minutes, say one game is they give the ball to Brandon, right? And say that they're not successful. The next game, they'll try to give the ball to Zion just because they're not successful.
Right.
And that actually pisses me off. If you're going to choose Brandon. Let Brandon have the ball, and if it works,
change where you get Brandon the ball.
Yeah.
Or change the set you run, or change the action.
Yeah.
Don't just go. That to me
go
shows,
away from
that. To me shows that you had no
faith.
You had no plan and no faith. It was
Yeah.
just kind of we'll do this time and see what happens. There's no actual plan in place, and that's what worries me as we get into this season, because you've now added another player to this. And so if you don't, this is kind of all goes back to the whole, the question that Lito asked to start, right? Can Borrego influence this if he's given the keys to the offense? Does it become his decisions? Does it become his action? Does it become what he wants? Or does it continue to be this sort of we'll see. Maybe you take threes, maybe you don't. Maybe we go to Brandon late in the game, maybe we don't. What are the expectations?
Let me ask y'all something. It's whoever wants to answer, or multiple do. What's the balance, or what's going to be the balance in bringing in, if we're talking about a closing identity? Well, you brought in not only a point guard, but a guy in Dejounte Murray who's supposed to be another leader, and someone who had really good clutch stats last year, right? He was one of the things that they chose to mention. It was a popular talking point of how one of the things that Dejounte helps with is the fact that he was really good in the clutch and the Pelicans were not. Pelicans they didn't win a single game, no matter how many points they were trailing going into fourth quarters. Dejounte happens to be someone who's comfortable in those situations. However, we've been talking about forever, we also need Zion Williamson to have the basketball. And we know typically what that looks like. So what's going to be the balance in between bringing this guy in who may be thinking that that's his job to help this team close and win games, and also having Zion have the basketball in situations that he typically does when he's at his best?
You?
So, damn, I kind of wanted to bring up that point to y'all, because y'all was talking about, what I'm saying, the fourth quarter problems, and he basically just said it. You brought in another person now, right? And that's to be honest, that's where I was going on my tangent. It's dog, the thing that I could count on the Pelicans to be is inconsistent.
Yeah,
they go consistently go away from what's working. I've seen it so many times. JV will have 13 first quarter points, and he won't get the fucking basketball again the rest of the game. Zion will have 20 second quarter points. he won't get the basketball in the fourth quarter. BI will hit 6 threes. It's there. You saw Trey in the OKC game. He was on fire. You forgot about him. They will consistently stop doing the thing that is working. I don't know if Dejounte Murray can assimilate into the. To be honest, if this is gonna work, he can assimilate. There can be no assimilation on his part. He's got to stand out. You know what I'm saying? He got to be the motherfucker who bucked the system.
Yeah. I'm with Lito. Honestly, I don't think he can solve the problem. And he shouldn't have to. Right? Like, he shouldn't have to, get Zion the ball. Like, it should be already like a scheme put together to get Zion the ball in the fourth quarter. Like, theoretically, there shouldn't be a time where Dejounte has the ball with 18 seconds left on the clock, and he's dribbling at the top of the key. Everybody space out, and it's him one-on-one. Now, if he got it going, different story. But average game, like, come on, bro, it better be pick and roll with you and Zion, and get Zion the ball on a short roll. He go play 3-on-2, 2-on-1, and if it get back to you, it's a swing, and that's your shot. Not you dribble, create for yourself. Like, this is not going to work. If you in his press conference, you said this is Zion's team. Zion's the guy. Zion better be the guy, because in those moments, it's all on him to make the decision whether the team wins or loses, not Dejounte Murray. And this is no diss to him, because I feel like he's a really good player, but I won't see Zion make those decisions, not him.
Hey, y'all, let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all realistically think what the team has with the roster that we have, right? Do you think that Dejounte can make a difference, will make a difference, and can it work with?
Depend on what the goal is. Like, what's the goal for this team? Like, how does it look? Do I think that they're a more talented team than last year? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But do I think this team is going to be theoretically better than last year? Not as currently constructed.
Who the more talented player between Dejounte and Brandon?
Brandon. I'll say that definitively.
Yeah.
Brandon.
Yeah. I agree.
I just wish Brandon knew that.
I'm not sure I agree, but
let's talk about this. Let's pod about this.
Sure I agree.
So we pod now.
I think Dejounte's just a far and away better defender. So if we're just throwing that out as it's half the game, but if we're just going to throw that out, even I think Murray is I don't want to say a better athlete, but certainly a shiftier, quicker athlete. I think he's a better ball handler. I think he's better. Pause. That's so ridiculous that I have to pause.
I think that was clear. I think that was clear.
I think he's more creative in the pick and roll. I mean, look, I think Brandon's a better scorer. I'm willing to sacrifice that, but I don't know that I would just sit here and say that he's just a all out better basketball player than Murray. I don't know that I agree.
No. Not
more
better.
skilled.
Yeah. Not better.
I think Brandon's more skilled.
What is skill? Like, is defense a skill? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, is rebounding a skill? Like, that, like he does. Skill. And so we can't just give more weight to the skill of scoring. I can't just I can't say that he's a more talented player because he's more talented than is one specific aspect, unless that's the only aspect that we're asking. But like that, in my opinion, that's not what we're asking Murray to do really at all. I mean, like, we need him to score, but like, that's not where I think his value is going to be derived on this Pelicans team.
This is a really good debate. I agree with Five though. No, because like, it's not as simple. Like, to me, it's just, I see Ross's point, but it's not as simple when comparing like the skill sets. At least like when I look at basketball, it's just like, is he a better scorer? Well, okay, but there's so many different elements, right, to scoring. There's how you are in the post. There's how you are getting to your spots. Can you fade left? Can you fade right? What are you doing versus like Brandon? I don't want to say he's a better passer than Dejounte, but I don't think it's that far away. I mean, for his position, Brandon's one of the better passers in the league, right? Shooting, I mean, it's a toss up. I think Dejounte will probably be more of more of a willing shooter in certain strengths than we will want. Brandon. Dejounte is a better transition player.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think this version of
I don't know.
Dejounte. Yeah.
Well, I think if at least in my opinion, I think I would say that he's a better transition player because he's more willing to just sprint out, almost. I mean, for lack of a better term,
like with the ball in his hands,
hustles more,
or just running the break.
I think running the break.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think that's kind of my point though. It's like if Brandon doesn't have the basketball, is he helping me in transition?
Okay, I'm not denying. Chris, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it was just you got anything else on? Okay, well, my position on it is where I think Brandon's more skilled. Just when you look at the footwork, like the ability to shoot over multiple defenders, like defense is key on Brandon. They don't necessarily. I wouldn't say they would key on Dejounte.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
Like
he in my reality, like Brandon could be a multi-time All-Star, 27 points per game scorer religiously, probably get you 8 assists and 8 rebounds. That's the Brandon Ingram that I thought I'd see this year or the past couple of years. I still think he could be that person, but the skill level is there. Now the willingness to do it, and I think that's what you kind of allude to, where is he impactful enough? And that's kind of what you consider as being better or not. Is he impactful enough? And that's why I think there's a better barrier of margin for those two to compare. I think Dejounte.
Who's a better player off ball?
Off ball, Dejounte.
Okay. Look, you make a fair point, right? Like there's something to be said for being the number one option, everyone knowing you're the number one option, and still being able to go get 24 like somewhat efficiently in the way that Brandon, has in his career. So I mean that I'm with you on just the pure. Again, I mean, I'm not going to argue who's a better scorer because I don't even think it's a question. And it's just hard for me to break down the simplicity of the question of like who's more talented, because I just don't look at basketball that way. I mean, I know a lot of like that's like a combine question, like who's more talented or something. It's like that we have enough evidence, enough games, enough data, enough film to see like who's going to be better for the Pelicans. And so
that's like saying playing one-on-one.
Yeah, right.
That determines who's better.
It's a tricky question.
Yeah.
All right. So hold on. While we still here, shout out to JB. Who's the better playmaker?
That's closer than people think. I'd probably get a nod to Dejounte, but it's closer than people think.
I think so, because I agree with Chris. The one aspect of Brandon's game that I like when there were times last year when he's, I don't want to say when he's thinking pass first, but when he's like in fully, I'm devoted to what the team is trying to do mode. Like he's a pretty damn good passer. Like he sees the floor. That's the one aspect of being 6'9", 6'10", with like a decent handle. He's really not a bad passer at all. At all.
I think, man. I think when he doesn't settle, like he's such a better player, man. Like when he just trying to get downhill and forcing you to draw to rather than, playing in the mid post, being slow and methodical. Like when he just plays downhill, that's when you see the flashes. That's when you see the passes to the corner. That's when you see the swings and getting teams in rotation. Man, I think there's times where you like, okay, that guy can be your number one option on your team.
I'm sitting here and
we're talking ourselves back into Brandon Ingram.
Well, I just get a funny question of like, just look at it in terms of wins and losses for a second.
Yeah. Nah.
If everyone's healthy for the whole year, we just have an unbelievable amount of health for this year. Which team accumulates more wins? A team without Zion, Trey starting at the 4, Brandon in the starting lineup, or a team with Zion and no Brandon? But Trey's probably still not in the starting lineup if Zion's there.
Really?
I mean, I would assume Herb probably steps into the lineup, but maybe that's a separate argument.
Yeah. I'd probably say the one with Zion, no Brandon.
every time.
because we've seen it.
Every
We have
time.
enough. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about theoreticals, but we've actually seen that one.
Yeah.
This is why talent being tantalizing and you looking at talent from a perspective of you're looking at talent from a perspective of when it's gonna materialize into something is why potential gets coaches fired.
Yeah.
Right? Because like we just sat here and we've seen this shit with Brandon and Zion. Like we've seen this team and we still here like, yeah, man, if he could, I'm thinking y'all talking the whole time and I'm like, yo, if Brandon would just buy in to just being the guy,
The third guy,
bro,
like just being one of the like non-stars, like it would change everything. But it is, you're right. It's such an interesting conundrum because they like there's only so five kind of, and Chris sort of alluded to it earlier with Murray. Like there's only so many players in the NBA, even if the team sucks, that can go score 25 for a whole season. There's just not that many
Right,
of them.
right.
Like, and Brandon is one of them. And I think that is why sometimes it's we have these conversations and like we all think the team would be better. I think if we moved Brandon somewhere else, like filled out the roster in a more appropriate manner, did all that stuff. But when you're just talking about talent, there's only so like many guys that when we said, hey, like he's the best player, like, or he's the guy that has to go get 24, 25 points, they can go do it night in and night out. Like we've seen Brandon average 24, 25 points a night.
You know what pisses me off? Is the other NBA players around the league, right? Like, yeah, man, Brandon tough. Brandon this, Brandon that. Well, motherfucker, can you tell him to win some basketball games so we can agree, please? Please, because we see this the exact same thing. We expect the exact same thing. We just want that shit, as Lito alluded to materialize to wins. That's what we would like to see. Like it can't be where you go off for a week and you average 27, and the next week you only put up 14 in a game. Like you can't do that.
Mhm.
You can't do that as the guy. Even if it takes you 20 some odd shots, you better get your average up. You better be scoring some points, impacting the game, getting rebounds, something. It can't be just, oh, well, I just didn't have it tonight. Well, the really great players figure out how to impact the game every night in some form or fashion.
And shout out Chaz. This was one of those things Chaz would always bring up was like, if you're this and you're that and you want, $150 million, he would have too many games, 11 shots, 9 shots, 8 shots, not engaged, 12 shots, come back, 9 shots, like 14. And I'm not saying him to take that many shots was like the best way for us to win when Zion's healthy. But we do, like the team or at least last year did need him to be aggressive. And there were just too many nights where he just wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just like, he was just another person out there. And if he's just another person out there with his ancillary skill set, I need somebody else.
It's crazy.
You know what this kind of reminds me of, and I'm not comparing these two talent wise, but just the fact how young hoopers look at Paul George,
Mhm.
and they look at him as like the blueprint. And like I remember Paul being a young player and waiting on his talent to mature, and you see his game now, and he's flawless offensively. But it's like when I watch him, it's still something missing.
Yeah. Something
just is not there. And all the skill, all the flawlessness he has offensively, it still does not equate to winning.
I think sometimes it's more. My bad, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I mean, I just think people look at Brandon and guys like Paul George and say that guy put in the work. Like anytime it could be, anytime you see someone making like a tough shot maker or someone that puts in, or someone who has exceptional footwork, that's the first thing you will see people end up like that. That translates to you putting in work. And when guys watch that, they say, man, that's tough. Like it's not something that the average human being can 100% can really do. So, especially if in Brandon's case, you're not an exceptional athlete. At one time, like Paul George was. So I think that's the allure there. It doesn't mean that those guys are necessarily championship players. I mean, Brandon or Paul George, they won't be the last person to where guys have watched film on and say, yo, that dude's amazing. That just doesn't win anything. Vince Carter was fantastic to watch, right? T-Mac was great to watch. Didn't get out the first round, Vince Carter didn't live up to where his talent says he probably should have, right? So, and I think the list goes on and on. But I think the difference with guys like that you would hope Brandon can learn from is like those dudes. They didn't get a chance to really change. They didn't get a chance to really evolve into the next, what could have been the next part of their DNA, because injuries took it away, in some respects for both T-Mac and Vince and whoever else you want to bring. Brandon has the opportunity at his age, what he's with what he's endured, for the most part, hasn't had any drastic big time injuries that will keep him out for 60 games or an entire offseason. He has the opportunity to change it all. It doesn't mean it has to be for New Orleans, but for whatever the next 5 years of his career looks like. That's like, I don't think what people see, and I hope that Brandon can see it, is that, dude, like you were fighting for what your career looks like the next 5 years. This ain't just about New Orleans. Go ahead. You
think he can get better? Like, do you think he can become a guy who makes the next 2 All-Star teams? Like, you think Brandon can get better? Do you think his best, even in an optimistic scenario, you think his best years could still be ahead of him?
Yeah, but it has to look different. I don't know if Brandon's best years bring in All-Star appearances. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it would take, because if you're telling me he's not a number 2, or let's say at best he's a third option, that takes a special circumstance to be an All-Star player. But with his game being well-rounded and him being 6'8", 6'9", and him having the ability to do so many things, but having the ability, if he can just devote himself to actually doing it consistently, that may not turn into a dude that may end up being a career for a guy that he was underappreciated. But shit, he won. He got the best out of he got the best out of what God gave him. That's what Brandon has to figure out. It don't have to be All-Star appearances, because Brandon has a skill set that should bring wins, or it brings empty stats on losing teams.
Mm-hmm. Before we move on, I always thought he should be like Jimmy Butler. Like, that was the person in my mind Brandon should have tried to emulate later on, and not by how Jimmy is off the court and shit like that. But Jimmy's a winner. Jimmy will put his team on his back in the last, final minutes and figure out a way to win. Was it whether it was physical, whether it was mental, whether it was getting a foul and one, some kind of heady play, defensively getting a steal, whatever it took to get a win, Jimmy was going to figure out a way to do that. And that's what I wanted to see from Brandon. I mean, he could average 21, but I wanted it to be like, okay, in the last 5 minutes, we're giving Brandon Ingram the basketball, and he was going to deliver a win to the Pelicans. That's what I wanted to see. I just didn't see it this season.
Yo, before we move on, it's 59 people in here. Yeah, we've been going right now for 43 minutes.
Damn, for real?
Yeah, and then I just looked at the clock and I was like, damn, that was.
Damn.
Let's run that DraftKings.
That was, yeah, man. Shout out to my brother Five, man. Let's get a word in from DraftKings right now.
TD, Tutty, taking it to the house, whatever you call a touchdown. They matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? To do so, you have to score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BOOT. That's code BOOT, BOOT, for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
Shout out DraftKings.
Shout out
Come on,
Yeah,
DraftKings.
man. Shout out DraftKings.
Get your
man.
bets in. Hope y'all betted safely today.
Yeah, I lost, but you know,
Oh.
we still here. Shout out to Chris, man. Chris sent me a fire bet yesterday. My dumb ass ain't put it in. But shout out to Chris, man. It's the only time I will publicly ever say anything admirable of him.
That's fucked up. You only sent it to you.
Yeah.
That's what's up, Chris.
Oh, you muted
on
Chris.
You on mute,
Go
Chris.
on mute. Stay on mute. That's messed up.
Hey,
cold blooded.
Hey, we was asking for some other things to talk about. I was asking for some other things to talk about. Shout out to the chat, man. And we kind of like talked about this before, but I mean, ain't nothing else to talk about. So, shout out to Cole, man. He asked for some realistic BI trades. I mean, since feels only right, we was talking about BI. I mean, ain't too, fuck. I feel like we done discussed every trade under the sun that there is for Brandon. But I mean, there was one that came out.
There was
the
a
other
couple,
day.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
just pull. Like, if we can,
let's do it.
Can somebody pull up the Bleacher Report? Do you know how to?
Let me see.
If not, I can try and get them up. But Bleacher Report this week had
Couple reports.
had two trades, like little potential, whatever you want to call them, mock trades or whatever the hell they are. That I thought, but we sent them in our little group chat, and both were like, yeah,
That's from the fifth.
somebody make a phone call, like, let's get these done. And one of them was kind of a reiteration of a trade that we've talked about a million times, the Walker Kessler trade. The other with Memphis I found to be interesting.
Yeah.
Because teams are always a little leery of like trading a player like that in the division, even though divisions in the NBA don't mean quite as much.
No.
But Memphis is different. Like, I don't think you want it.
I don't think you want to give that team.
Yeah, like I don't know if you're trying to give them a little extra like emphasis or piss them off or give somebody on their roster like, oh, let's all go play hard for that guy because they messed him. Like, I don't know about that one. But I like the trade. I do like the trade.
I'm trying to find it.
God damn. It was in the messages and
Oh,
then
no, I don't see it no more.
Is it Propel Stock? Yeah. Man.
Damn it.
But the other one was the Jazz one. And we've talked about that one.
That one to me is a no-brainer. Like, I'd be curious, like, if that's come up or if that's even like if that's one of those trades that's just still sort of sitting out there, and we're not interested, or like the Jazz aren't interested, or it's just like neither one of us really need to do this deal today, so like we'll just wait and see. That to me is. It feels like it makes so much sense for both teams that I don't understand why it hasn't been done. And that, I guess that's where my confusion comes in. Like, what's y'all's opinion on that?
I always told you that I believe, in my opinion, Griff doesn't want to lose or come out to lose a trade in that fashion, right? Where he's giving up a Brandon Ingram, a one-time All-Star for, it seems like, ancillary player around the league. Now everybody's afraid of, Danny Ainge.
I got it right here.
Yeah, here it is. Walker Kessler Fields, New Orleans center void. I mean, I think he's a good player. Oh, and possibly John Collins. In my opinion, that's why I would have wanted Trae Young initially, right? And possibly get John in a trade like this. It would have made a lot of sense because Trae was able to help John secure over $100 million in the contract. I think he plays best basketball playing with Trae Young. I just think that there's an opinion of Griff, like he doesn't want to be seen as being
Do
played.
you think that trade, though, as Bleacher Report proposed it, and it was, I mean, the irony is the title of the article is, blockbuster trades to build NBA title favorites, right? So they clearly think,
this could help.
that this would make the Pelicans title favorite, which is kind of funny. But Walker Kessler, John Collins, and a 2025 first rounder from Cleveland for Brandon Ingram doesn't feel like a loss to me. Like, I get what is, I'm curious y'all's opinion, because that
it doesn't feel like a loss.
No, not to me at least. Like if this was Walker Kessler and a first rounder and a second rounder, and they were like, that to me is more salary dumpish. But like them giving you a first rounder plus John Collins, who I think I could make an argument if you traded for John Collins today, he would.
I think he's better than Daniel Theis.
That's not even a conversation.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I think you would lead your team in minutes at the center position this year. Like he would be by far the most talented player you have at the center position. And in a lot of ways, I think he actually fits really well with Zion. But that's a totally separate conversation.
What you looking for?
Yeah, like I don't. And this is what I mean is like that trade. And maybe the Jazz don't like. Maybe this is just one of those hypothetical things that never really goes anywhere. But that trade makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think?
I mean, I think you are, or you're as valuable as the market says you are. So, and I think whether you wait late in the game to get rid of something, or they would have made the trade at an optimal time, like this is something that helps the overall team out. It kind of gives a clear direction going forward. It clears, space for an important person on your bench, and it fills a need. So, I think any trade that allows you to affect multiple parts on your depth chart is a win at this point, especially when the market is telling you that if you're looking to get another guy, that I guess is just as talented as Brandon, or if you're looking to get another one-time All-Star, or if you're looking to get someone who bar for bar is almost the same as Brandon, whatever it is, like that's not going to happen in this particular market and where the CBA is setting up today and going forward. So a deal like this, it allows you to do many things. Any type of trade for this organization right now that gives flexibility, but also paints that either paints or forces them to go into a direction. Because at this point, it has to force them to go into direction. Because if they're given the opportunity to pick one, they can't. They failed that. They failed having to pick a path, having to pick a clear direction and living with it, wins and losses. This type of situation, this kind of trade that we're talking about, even if it isn't like the most, like maybe someone outside of New Orleans wouldn't look at it and say, "Oh man, the Pelicans won that." Those that watch the team and know what this roster is looking like and what this team probably needs to do going forward, I think that's the kind of deal you should be looking at, whether it's Utah or someplace else.
My bad. I think that. Hold on, my bad. I was looking for the. I was trying to.
I'll let you. To that point, Chris, I think you're right. The market's going to tell you how valuable you are, but also think about the Pelicans need to think about what value they need to bring to their own team, regardless of like what the market dictates for Brandon. That it is what it is. What do you need to fill whatever void you have on your team, and do what's best for your team, regardless of how you feel about Brandon. We all like Brandon as a basketball player, but we all feel like there's needs on this team that are bigger than Brandon. If you want a good basketball team that want to compete for, second round to possibly third round of a playoff series, like if you want that, then you have to make necessary changes and be okay with those changes and understand what you need to fill said voids on your basketball team.
Just to confirm, I would just go over the trades. I mean, if anybody ain't know or hear about the trades, it was Memphis acquires Brandon Ingram for Marcus Smart, Brandon Clark, the 2025 first round pick, and the 2026 second round pick. I get what you're saying when you're saying you don't lose nothing in that trade. I mean, Brandon Clark might not have the prettiest game, but he effective as hell when he's healthy. The same for Marcus Smart. Is a guy who you can't. It's hard to measure his stats versus the impact he has on the floor. And then you pairing Marcus with her.
I think about that trade. And I'm like, man, that's already enough guards.
Yeah, I don't like the Memphis one as much as I like the Utah trade.
All right, so let's get to the Utah one. So the Utah trade is, like you said, Walker, Kessler, John Collins, the 2025 first round pick. And Utah just receives Brandon Ingram. And we all know Danny Ainge, and we know that ain't going down like that.
Yeah, I think that to me is like this one's too. I think that's exactly right.
It's almost too propelled.
It's too. See what you did there.
Yeah.
It is. I think that
Segue.
one's too optimistic. Like I don't think Ainge would do that because I think he'd give you. I don't even know if they'd do Kessler and Collins, to be honest with you, but he damn sure ain't giving you that first round pick.
Man, listen. I wouldn't even need the Collins joint. You probably need that to make the money work or something like that.
Yep.
That's why you need Collins.
Shit, hell.
But they don't want Collins. Like that's what, like
They don't want Kessler.
that's what I'm saying. That's why it's like for me, if those two players help the Pelicans, like unequivocally help the Pelicans more than Brandon will help them this year. That's why I'm like, I don't even need that pick. I don't need, just keep it. It's the Cavs 2025 pick, and it's gonna be 23rd overall or some shit. We probably have a 20. I don't know what picks we got this year. Somebody in the chat, tell me. We got some more shitty picks that we're gonna use on who do we even take this year? Like what? Missy. Yeah, exactly. We all got a good chuckle. So I don't need any more picks. In fact, I wish we could trade. I wish we could trade all of our own picks. But I don't know, man. We've been down this road so many times. I'm of the opinion if it was going to happen, it would already have happened. And so, I know the question was, what hypothetical deals for Brandon, but there is none right now. If it was going to happen, it would happen. I mean, we're like what 18 days from the first preseason game or some shit. Like the season is here.
Hey, and moving right along, man. We got word on who the starting center is. I don't know if you're familiar, man, but FIBA Theis is
I knew.
You shaking your head, dog.
He said I knew.
I told you what it was gonna be when they signed him, man. I told you FIBA Theis was gonna be the starting center on this team. Like you,
it's not a thing, bro. And it shouldn't. There's no.
He locked LeBron up on a possession. He FIBA Theis.
Why are you yelling?
That's it.
Why are you yelling? Look,
because you got your little mask on. You could
get the shirts made. I want a shirt that says FIBA Theis. We gotta get that shirt.
It's not a thing, and I hate if that is the ultimate. If that's what they ultimately decide, I hate it because it 100% is everything that's been wrong with this organization and with this regime is that they are so focused on doing safe shit when trying something that even looks risky or that is like off the trail may ultimately be what's best for you. I hate it. It may ultimately work. I get why you do it, but nothing to me about this fucking team with all of these different players that they have. Nothing makes sense like having two guys that are, whether it's CJ and Herb, CJ and Trey and Herb, whatever, having two of those guys come off the bench in any form, I don't care how many minutes they play, I don't care who closes it. I hate it. I 100% hate it because I don't believe Daniel Theis in the first 8 minutes is going to give you that big of an advantage. Lean into what your roster says you need to lean into. If you did not get a center, go and whatever type of lineup you craft with Zion. I don't even see Zion as being a traditional 5. Even if you plug him at center, that's not the way that I think their defenses or their offenses are going to use him. They are not going to let Zion just stand in the paint and take unnecessary unnecessary that for 8 minutes to start every single game. That's not going to happen, man. Nothing about this roster. If Misi's not ready, like your other options are Carlo and Trey Jemison, and you're gonna start Daniel Theis because you have to meet some quota. Why? Lean into what this roster says you need to do and just go small and deal with it. You made the bed. You decided to not go with this and figure it out at the trade deadline. Go ahead and do that.
Hey man, Daniel. I mean, his first name ain't Daniel.
He is. It was. Like the fact that he was thinking about going overseas and said, I guess I'll think about taking an opportunity to start for the Pelicans tells me all I need to fucking know. He is not committed. He didn't show up to the practice. No one knows why. He didn't show up to the team practice. Your starting center wasn't there. I don't care if he just spent all this time playing international basketball. I don't care. He's supposed to be the starting center. Why he wasn't there? Why he wasn't there? He played 20 minutes. I ain't done, Ross. I'm still cooking. I hate it.
Now you yelling. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, no, because FIBA types is not a thing. It's stupid. I hate it. It's not that big of an upgrade for if you go small. I think starting out, Theis is 6'6". He's 1 inch taller than Lito. I hate it. I'm done.
No, look, I agree with you 100%. I think this whole thing's a joke. I'm curious whether Theis actually thinks like that he's an NBA starter. Like, because I don't think he does. Like,
there's no way.
Yeah, like sure. I mean, this he's not a rookie. An energetic rookie. This thinks he has the world in front of him. Like, it's a dude who's
been through the ringer. He done been dunked on by every person that you can think of.
He knows he's not an NBA starter. I truly wonder if he would welcome, like, hey, Theis, look, we worked out something else, dog. You're not gonna start. Like we got something.
Like,
he'd
cool.
be like, it's cool, man. You know what? I like what y'all got going on off the bench anyway. Like, I think I'm gonna fit better with the cats. These cats coming off the bench. We're gonna play high energy, shoot a bunch of threes. Like, there's no way that if someone has Daniel Theis's contact information, can send it to us. I will ask him the question directly. I don't think he thinks he's an NBA starter. There's no way.
He almost wasn't an NBA player if the Pelicans didn't call. What are we talking about?
That's because he's the Michael Jordan of international basketball.
Boy, if you don't, bruh.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you must have been at the wrong iron too. You must have fell and hit your head on the board. All right.
I heard
about it.
Shout out to Ross, man.
Nah, like there's no way Daniel Theis believes that he's an NBA starter. No. I don't think he would even.
Do you think the Pelicans think? Did you truly think the Pelicans think?
Hell no. That's just another.
You think they got themselves stuck?
Yes.
Or do you think they've talked themselves into this?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
Talk themselves, man.
Bro, Fob, I've seen people on the timeline talk themselves into missing being a starter.
Twitter is not the real world.
No. I want to know what the team.
No, you know the answer to that, Ross.
Players?
No, not the players.
Yes.
No. I mean the front office. I mean the folks that brought this cat here.
When they signed that motherfucker, we got him. That's a steal. Nobody even thought to pick him up.
I don't think they thought that when they signed.
Hell no.
I think they signed him under the assumption that something else would happen and nothing else happened. And now I'm wondering, have they talked themselves into like, oh, this will work though. This is gonna work.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
Or do you think they still like? This is where I would love a little insight of like, do they know this is bullshit, or are they just trying to they tricking everybody? Like,
man, I don't know if they setting somebody up. I don't know what the fuck they got going on, but
they setting us up.
Oh, we've been to set up. The jig is up.
Yeah,
the jig is up.
Shout out to Justin.
We be the infamous. You heard of us.
Come on, Ross.
God awful. God awful. No, because man, like I don't get it, bro.
Yeah.
Zion at the 5 could ultimately be a horrible decision and fail. But you know what? At least what it brings a fucking identity by default. Man. It forces you to have to play a certain way to survive and to win. That's the only thing that it does. Daniel Theis to me does not fucking do that. I hate it, bro.
Church finger. Listen. You know what I'd do if I was the Pelicans? I just start trade at the 5. I just do it. I just start Trey Murphy at the 5.
Okay.
Fuck it. Like you baptism by fire.
Can't get no worse.
Yeah. At this point, Zion at the 4, Trey at the 5.
Like high school 5 out.
Yeah. Spread the floor. I can run faster than you can. I can put up more shots than you can. I can create more space and more advantages than you can. Deal with it. And then eventually, Trey Murphy will get better at defense, playing the 5, playing help side, guarding 5s. Because eventually, like he's not. How many centers are going to play their back to the basket? How many of them are there?
Yeah, I mean,
theoretically, how many? Okay, not that many. Maybe Joker.
And the ones that do are going to score 40 anyway.
Yeah,
like they're going to score 40 on Theis too.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I was I know they won't do it, and that's why when we had this conversation last week, I was like, Theis is going to start, and then they announced Theis is going to start. But I agree. I would just say fuck it.
Yeah.
Like we're going to play the best 5 players that we have on the roster. That's who's going to start, and we'll just whatever happens.
Me and Chris just did a show about centers in the NBA, and basically like, let's say you start it. Basically, the show was about starting Zion at center. As you start Zion at center, what opposing centers would you be afraid of? And realistically, I think how many? Chris, you remember how many teams we said? I think it was 3.
I don't even know if that show came out yet. Did it?
Oh shit, my bad. I don't think it did.
Yeah, but it was like 10. It was like 10. And it may have been. Yeah, I mean it's probably somewhere between 7 to 10 players.
My bad, Chris. The only pushback I got about Zion playing the 5 is I think it's too much physicality. For not saying like Zion couldn't handle said physicality, but I'd rather him like off ball or somebody. You create the mismatches on offense, but he's going into the trees every single time because there's a mismatch and you're trying to get to the basket. You'd rather him be guarded by a smaller defender and then take them than an opposing big. I don't know. I think there's another way to go about this. I think if you have Trey Murphy, he spreads the floor. If you got the 5 guarding Trey, and Zion has more range, more room to get to the rim.
I mean, look, Nick Claxton is 6'11", 215. Trey Murphy is 6'9", 210. Like, what are we really like?
But stylistically though, like Zion don't have to start possessions.
Yeah,
underneath the basket, like you could still take advantage of a mismatch on the perimeter, or like you could have even, let's just say Trey's in the game, you could even have Trey try to set a screen on the center or whoever to create the mismatch. Either way, I just think it was an interesting conundrum. I talked myself into Zion playing minutes at the center position, and I think I'm with Chris. Like they kind of took the cowardly way out on some shit. You know what I'm saying?
As they always do.
Yeah. I mean,
no,
I don't get
it. It would be fun to try to watch other teams like defend that, like just to start the game, like defend that lineup.
Oh, you want to see? I'd rather it be like a second quarter, fourth quarter type of thing, rather than it be the first thing you see is like, okay, we got to guard Zion at the 5. And then it's like, okay, your big joker's already out.
No, I meant Trey at the 5.
Oh,
like,
my bad.
Just to start a game where it's just like, hey, we got Murray, CJ, Brandon, Zion, and Trey out there. Like,
but it depends on the team, right? Like we've seen her be assigned in certain matchups. Like let's say Karl Anthony Towns, for example, in the post. We've seen her for, not saying it's the optimal decision, but we've seen that. We've seen the Pelicans choose to have him for multiple possessions guard Karl Anthony Towns, and not just Karl, other centers as well. We've seen it against Jokic. We've seen it against fill in the blank. So like I don't think just because we say Zion's at the 5 means that he's guarding every center that's out there.
Yeah,
like and most centers that you play, like the superstars, you're probably gonna end up doubling and forcing your defense to rotate anyway. Like there's no way that if the Philly decides to throw the ball down to Embiid, let's say Embiid is, I'm not shooting threes this game, I'm sitting up on the block, and they just gonna have to figure it out. You're not gonna have Zion down there just trying to figure out Embiid in the post for 30 minutes a game. No, more than likely you doubling and rotating, or you'll have Herb out there, you'll have Trey out there. I'm not saying any of the decisions are good decisions, but
even if this is why it's annoying. Even if Theis was out there, you would be doubling.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same exact fucking thing. So lean into something. Lean into your strengths, and obviously your strengths have to be your offense. Obviously your strengths have to be your speed, athleticism, and your transition offense. It has to be it. Theis playing 8 minutes or 6 minutes to start a game and 20 minutes overall for a game, it does nothing for me, because your most important offenses are going to be, your most important lineups are going to be with him off the floor.
And then it ruins what the first 8 minutes to 12 minutes of Zion Williamson being on the floor because you got Daniel Theis out there.
What is he gonna do?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like you ruining your best player's minutes because you got somebody else that shouldn't be on the court with him. Shouldn't.
Do y'all think they're like? And I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
but shifting gears to preseason, like, do you think there's any chance that they see something in preseason that says, you know what, man, fuck it, like, let's just put our 5 best players out there,
man,
and figure it out. Like, we're just gonna figure it out.
If you need preseason to tell you that, then you're already behind.
Bro, you talking about the Pels though?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and also, sometimes even when they push it, they still don't make the change.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I'm like, they definitely gonna need to see it.
Oh no.
like
Shit, hell no. They'll see something and be like,
still won't.
they saw Jordan
Gotta
Hawkins
be careful.
hurt his toe and said,
That's not for us.
I think he
That's
needs
not-
something.
We don't like that.
black people.
Do this.
He's a little reckless for us. He got lucky one night. But I mean, he's
Scoring too many points out there.
Yeah.
Hey,
making everybody else look bad.
yo, I don't know if y'all saw this. It's only 3 players in NBA history to score 10,000 points on 40% from threes over the last 10 years.
That's got to be
Steph.
Talk to him.
Clay,
Talk to him.
CJ McCollum.
Talk to him.
There we go.
I didn't even look at it. That was off the rip.
They out here calling 3J the third brother.
3J.
3J, yeah, man, that's his name, man.
They calling him the third brother.
Hey, man, CJ's been really consistent throughout his career, bro. He doesn't get enough notice because of probably him being a president or just not probably getting to the conference. I mean, he only been in once with the Blazers.
Yeah.
Not getting to NBA finals. Doesn't have an all-star, which is also egregious. To average 20 points for a decade, that, like Ross, when you alluded to it, like to average 20 points is already difficult for one season, but to do it for a decade, we don't see too many guys like that. We're not.
That's why when Justin was asking, and I do think, like, realistically, it probably would help this team in the long run if he did come off the bench. When Justin was asking, like, how do you ask him to come off the bench? Like, I was like, he go look in the locker, he go walk in the locker room and be like, for who?
For who? What?
Who? I'm gonna turn into an owl. Who?
Mm.
I don't respect nobody in here.
You talking about a motherfucker that need to see something? It be him. Oh, you gotta show me. You gotta show me.
I'm on. Yeah, I look. This isn't a. You get no pushback from me. CJ starts for me.
Where the data at? Because that's the first thing you're gonna see. Like, where the data at that proves that I should be going.
CJ gonna take that paper. Shit, get no play in my ride. Shit out of here, man.
Why he's second lining.
Shout out to CJ.
Shout out to CJ, man. Yeah, happy belated too, CJ. Five was. I was, sorry you had a second line.
Yeah, man. It was a further uptown-esque second line, but a second line.
Fifth line. Yeah, okay. Can't win them all.
Yeah, man.
Man, he's out there trying.
Man, like a trolley line. It was a trolley line.
I mean,
but you had one, got him a umbrella with
the umbrella
and CJ on it.
How would you rate his second line performance? Like, was he good or was the people around him?
The music, he had black instrumentalists, which was good. It was a good start.
Yeah.
Short video, so can't really rate it.
Footwork wasn't really.
Can't tell. I'm
incomplete.
Not going.
The footwork is incomplete.
Got an eye, man. Got an eye. Yeah, inconclusive. He also needs to still rate the Carter albums. Like eventually, CJ, if you hear this, like we still need a rating on the Carter albums and how you feel about those. That's super important to how we feel about things. Yeah, how we can judge it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think that was CJ's way of saying I'm not qualified to answer this question and didn't want to be.
He did definitely.
That's his way of saying I did not listen to the Carter one.
No.
I know 2 songs off the Carter 2. Huh?
I'm gonna be honest with you. CJ's blacker than I thought.
Oh, okay.
I agree.
All right. We pod now. Ross getting uncomfortable. Go ahead. Go vibes.
Nah. CJ blacker than I thought. I was like, Nah, you was one of them. I almost called you that, boy. Yeah.
What you mean? What you like? What you saying? Like that? You gonna go further into detail? What you saying?
I think, like he cool. Like no, don't get it twisted. But I think under the suit and tie,
You could tell.
there's an uncle in his past that gave him the game.
I mean, a man from Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If anybody ever been to Cleveland, Cleveland black as hell.
Darkness.
So you know what I'm saying?
Bone Thugs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
St. Clair's.
I'm like, bro. All right.
Oh, we pod now.
We've lost the show.
Yeah.
Ross is red.
Hey, Justin would have been over there having a mental breakdown. Justin would have been over there. What's up, everybody?
Run the company burger out.
Right. Shout out the Fourth Dimension, man. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself.
Yeah. We in business.
We in business. Appreciate y'all.
Man. We appreciate y'all. Speaking of, we might as well run that Vicknair right now, man.
Shout out to Scott. Shout out to Vicknair.
It's not Scott.
What y'all want, the football one or you want
It's
the
David. It's both of them, really. It's two guys. It's two people. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm saying you want
Run the commercial.
Which one you want, the football one or you want the coffee shop one? Talk to us. I don't know which one you supposed to run.
Nah, run the football one.
All right.
The coffee shop one
Play
wasn't their best work,
All right.
in my personal opinion.
They should have had us.
They should have.
And Jonathan Williams brings it all the way back from the 20-yard line.
What a terrific way to end the first half.
And tonight's game is brought to you by Scott Vicknair Injury Attorneys. They always fight for the win.
You mean attorney? It's one lawyer, Scott Vicknair.
No, there's two.
Brad Scott and David Vicknair.
Well, it's confusing.
That it is. They could have picked a better name.
Scott Vicknair Injury Attorneys. We fight for the win.
They need to add that. I'm gonna talk to him.
He said he need to add
I'm gonna
that.
talk to him.
Hey, yo.
I'm gonna talk to him.
Ross the engineer.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Hey, yo, shout out to the Vicknair Law Firm, man. 504-500-1111. You know what I'm saying? Support them. They support us. But listen, man, let us get in that commercial next time, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Let us take care of that. You don't gotta worry about that.
We need purple suit jackets.
That's nothing.
Nothing.
Jackets.
38 regular. You know what I'm saying? I got it too.
Man, let's see. Ain't too much other shit to talk. Alfred Payton.
Shout out to EP, man.
Legend.
Former Raging Cajun. My dog. I met this dude, you know, it's crazy. My cousin was playing basketball at UL, and I transferred to UL. And I met EP through him. EP was a freshman. He was a starting guard at the time. We used to have kickbacks at our apartment. Dude, he wasn't drinking or nothing like that. Man, we got lit. Like we be toe up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But he was like he would drink, but he wasn't drinking. And then it got to the point throughout the season, he started drinking a little bit more. Man, there's some stories in there that I can't divulge on camera.
Yeah. Okay.
EP, I know about you. I know about you, boy. You was a funny dude. Shout out to EP, man.
Hell, man. If anybody know it.
Hell yeah.
Anybody know.
You seen it? You met his dad before?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Bro.
Absolutely, I have.
Bro.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, man, he got a camp deal.
Yeah.
What's the odds y'all think of EP making a team?
It's a camp deal.
Is it
It's a camp.
Camp only.
It's gonna be a camp deal.
I think he got legs to play still. I think there's room for Alfred Payton in the league at this current juncture in his career. You don't think so?
No, I think the best thing that can happen. Well, look, he's from here, so shout out. Whatever. Maybe the best thing, if he wants to continue his career, he might ought to get Theis's Europe connection. See if he can find some space over there. I don't know. First off, he's just not gonna make the roster because like where's how where's he gonna fit in the roster? But maybe maybe he works it into a player development deal or something. Where you slide over, put a suit on.
He only 30.
Hey man, he only 30, bro.
He's an old 30.
How?
He feels like he was in the league for like 10 years.
Yeah. This would be his 10th year. He came in the league at 19.
But he feels like he was in the league like 10 years, and now he's been out for 3. Like,
No, he's only been out for.
no, I know
yeah.
that's what I'm saying, but it feels like
I don't think. Listen, no disrespect. The EP, you know what I'm saying? That's my dog. Like I've played basketball many times. I don't think in today's NBA, his lack of shooting, well, they're not gonna let him.
and he's like not really an athlete. Like he's not like a super
he-
athlete either.
Yeah,
so.
it's gonna be tough.
There's a lot of motherfuckers saying super athletes.
Yeah, but look, I'm gonna just say this: the last time you saw EP in the NBA, he shot 22%.
Yeah. Nah, I'm not denying those. Maybe, hey, bro, I believe
I'm
you.
with you though,
And he's
I
been out for 2
understand.
years. Like that's the thing
Yeah.
to remember. Like it's not like if he just was somewhere last year and didn't play well, that's one thing. He hadn't played NBA basketball in 2 years.
Man, this team needs a Garrett Temple, man. And he's the perfect guy.
Yeah.
No team needs a Garrett Temple.
What?
That's crazy.
What? You can't tell me that. And we watched Garrett Temple.
They need him on the bench in a suit.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you talking about in a uniform, like a basketball uniform.
Hey, man, EP probably need that 10th year, man. Get the 10th
Hey,
year.
look, I don't care whether he takes the 12th spot or whoever that or I don't know who's supposed to have the 12th spot. Who's the 12th
Tice.
guy on the,
I
yeah.
mean, it's at that point it's Trey Jemison, right?
Don't say that. No, it's not.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
Club foot. Got a spot.
like if you had a real center, you
Reeves
probably
or
wouldn't
something?
need. You can make it work.
Alfred or Reeves for the 12th spot. If that
Oh,
if
right
those
now,
were your
Reeves,
choices.
Reeves for sure.
Reeves.
Yeah.
We can keep you.
Alfred or Matt Ryan for the 12th spot.
Justin, which is
EP.
Justin, what do you think of Justin said he didn't have an answer.
EP.
Are you
EP
guys
on
kidding me?
there? JRE.
Alfred.
Oh,
That's actually a tough one.
Jerry. A little bit more versatile.
Yeah.
man.
I'll go Jerry.
It's crazy, man. You know, we keep talking about the center position, and every time we have a conversation about it, I mean, I guess his presence on the team, like no disrespect, is kind of forgettable, but he's someone that we don't talk about.
Jerry.
Like, I mean, he is someone who has like experience starting in this league, right? Like that's, but we don't. When the options are Daniel Theis, Trey Jemison, Carlo, and Missy, we don't talk about JRE at all, who actually played minutes for this team last season. I have no idea what the fuck that would mean, and if that is something that should matter. But it's just interesting that he's somebody that will probably make the team, and maybe has a shot to play some kind of minutes for the team. And we just
That is, Chris, you're right because I really don't think Tice is any better than JRE.
there you go.
In the grand scheme of things, like I don't think those two guys.
But JRE is a 4, right? Theoretically.
Yeah, I think Jerry better. Like
I feel like JRE might be bigger than Tice.
I think he's a better basketball player though.
I think Tice is the better passer. Probably Tice is more experienced.
That's because FIBA.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
We'll talk. To be honest,
Why don't we talk about JRE?
For real, why don't we?
We don't talk about Carlo either though.
We probably should talk about Carlo more than we talk about JRE though. It's not a. We probably should talk about both.
The talent,
Yeah.
the potential.
Yeah, because you wasted a second round pick on Carlo.
Carlo was taken.
You waited on Carlo. Carlo had to go back home, get right.
Then we brought him over last year.
Yeah.
I mean,
we should be talking
now
about.
or never.
He was
It's now or never for Carlo.
22nd
of the second round. So he's 52nd overall.
See what I'm saying? Like we waited on Carlo.
What's the potential? All right,
James Brown on the show.
This goes crazy. How could you hate the show?
There's a couple people that.
A lot of people that hate the show.
Yeah, we could talk about that too.
Just we can burn it all down tonight.
We could go.
Oh,
Wait a second, guys. Shout out to my dog Justin, man.
For sure.
What's the percentage of?
Yeah, I like where this is going. I know. Go ahead. Ask the question.
I'm trying to figure out the right way to ask the question. Are we talking Carlo, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Give me the
ask a question.
Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Carlo starts. I think Carlo might outplay Theis in the. I think there's a better chance of Carlo starting over Theis than them changing course and starting Zion at the 5, or like what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like, even though we know that would look better, we all know that would look better in the preseason, and they're going to do it at some point, but they're not going to do it. I think there's a better chance of Carlo outplaying Theis and Carlo being the starting center night 1 than there is of Trey starting the center night 1.
See that? All right. Yeah, I'm on. Oh,
Come on, we pod?
dog.
We pod?
Listen,
Oh, we pod?
they gonna start Theis. They're gonna be like, he's more experienced. You can't trust Carlo. FIBA. You know, and then Carlo gonna mess around, play against the second unit people. Either he's gonna play really good or he's gonna play really bad. And if he plays really good, then there's gonna be, talk around the internet like, oh, maybe Carlo should start.
Yep, we got Carlo.
And then he gonna start, and he gonna play like shit. And once he play like shit with the starters, he's never gonna have his confidence again. And then you're gonna have to send his ass back to the G League. Nah.
But he ain't never. Has he ever? Yeah, he did go to G League, huh?
Yeah, he played in G League for a little minute, but
did he?
Yeah, right.
He did.
At the end of last year.
Yeah.
How did that go?
He did.
Yeah.
Nah,
Pretty well.
I
mean, statistically, but I mean, so what we're asking though is like, I don't think the question about Carlo is talent at this point, right? I think for a big man, he's very, very talented, and we saw some of that in summer league. But the problem with him is that it's the other shit that can get embarrassed against NBA centers, power forwards. Like, can he stay out of foul trouble? Can he, the fundamentals element of it? Can he set consistent good screens? Can he set good screens at all? Like, they're not. What does Carlo look like as a role player around other talented basketball players? Can he give you 5 to 10 minutes on the floor and it doesn't look terrible? And he's not food, and him being able to rebound and being part of a situation versus, hey, it's the summer league and Carlo, we like you can take step back threes. So it's a big question mark there. But I don't know if the hype around him, that was one of the things that in the Theis starting like rumor that came out, was one of the things that was attached to it. I just don't know what to make of it, because didn't we, like, I remember Jackson Hayes a couple years ago, last time that this team had one of these offseason workouts. I'm like, man, Jackson looks phenomenal. Jackson looks great. He was the same Jackson Hayes. Couldn't stay out of foul trouble. Still wasn't a big man, wasn't a center. Couldn't do the little things you needed him to do to succeed, but was talented as hell. Carlo isn't Jackson Hayes, but we gotta see it on film, man. We gotta see it actually happen and around actual talent.
There we go. Let me get some Carlo footage.
Oh, man. Shout out to whoever asked for the Carlo highlights, man.
Yeah,
your boy be out here working for y'all, bro.
Look, so you can win a tip. That's check number 1.
You can do what?
Nah, don't do it again. Don't you, motherfucker. I knew he was gonna say it.
Oh, that's something JV couldn't do.
Yeah.
What's that?
Catching
Theis
alley?
can't do it either.
It's him getting dunked on.
See, and the real issue with Carlo playing is the Pelicans don't have an identity, right? So you don't know how to teach him in what role, in what capacity. You'd be asking him to play basketball with a free reign of talent. Just go out there and play. Let your abilities take over.
He'd have to be able to shoot. Like,
that's what get him in trouble.
Yeah.
That's what get him in trouble, Five. Like ideally you want him to just go out there and just hoop, right? But like, they're not in a position to where they can afford, with the lack of depth and options they have at center, with someone who may need as much time as him, right? Who isn't as developed. You may not be able, you don't have the option to be like, yo, bro, just go out there and figure it out. Go out there and let your talent do the work. I don't know if they can afford that.
That's a shame. That's a shame. If that's a game plan for him, that's a shame.
Yeah, if Carlo, like, for me, if Carlo doesn't start, I don't even need him on the roster yet. Because if he's not good enough to beat out Theis, then he shouldn't play over JRE, and he doesn't bring to the table the same things that like Missy or Trey Jemison would bring.
He's some weak ass screens.
Like it's like I don't actually need him. If he's not good enough to beat out Theis, I don't need him on the roster. I don't. Where's he? Because he's just not going to play. There's no room for him to play.
And this goes back to the earlier argument of talent. All right, who's better or who's more talented or who's more impactful? I think in that scenario, like he has more talent than Daniel Theis, but is he better? Probably not.
No, he's not.
Look at that. Left hand.
Man, fuck that. Is that consistent? Is that something he can go 10 out of 10 times or 9 out of 10 times?
What is the Patrick Ewing thing?
Great.
You practice that shot?
That was a Great Depression era hook shot.
I mean, and let me ask y'all: if he can't screen a rebound, right? How does he help the team?
Exactly.
That's why I'm telling you, I actually don't. If he can't beat out Theis to start, I don't think he should be on the roster.
He can run the floor. He can be athletic.
So can Frank.
Right.
I mean, what are we talking
My daughter
about?
could do that. Like that ain't. Like
I mean,
but
he is skilled.
Conniption about what
you
just
did.
I know. I'm sorry, Lala. I'm sorry, Lala.
You better fix it.
Oh, I don't know what I just did. Oh, how I fix
What
it?
he do?
With the formats, pause.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Oh no.
Nope. No, that's not it.
She don't really tell you exactly how to, do these things.
No.
This is the epitome of the what did you say before we started when Justin was gone? Like it's even worse when Lala's
yeah,
like,
yeah. Now, Lala, I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix it.
oh well. Oh
damn,
no.
that's definitely not it.
The show has definitely gone off the rails now.
Oh. I mean, I'm cool with this.
Yeah, we all right.
It's terrible.
Yeah, nope, I'm going now.
Bye, Chris.
I'm out of here. Up, back.
I don't know, man. Shit, this is all we got, man.
What's good, y'all?
It is what it is. What up, Chris?
Y'all got any? Oh, I guess we got to answer some questions.
I guess.
I'm so excited.
The hell?
Lala fixing it?
No, that's me.
Oh,
that's me trying to make this thing work.
We're
gonna run with this.
Yeah.
Shout out Theo's, man.
Shout out to Theo.
Coming
I
through.
still not, man. We ain't get no pizza.
We're gonna get some pizza, man.
Gotta get some pizza.
Shout out to Theo's.
Oh, let's see, man.
Their neighborhood pizza.
Start some shit.
They got the thin crust.
Don't ask what's in our cup.
You know what's wild, bro? You know what I want? When eventually when I buy a house, I want to be able to be close enough to have like a pizza spot or a bar.
I heard you.
So I can walk there, but not close enough that I can hear it.
I saw you either tweet this yesterday or something. I'm never on the Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it.
The Twitter.
It's Twitter.
I'm never on the Twitter.
I'm never on there, but I did see that.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, that's a very reasonable thing for an adult male our age to want.
That seems like a very fantastic life.
Yeah. I've got one like a block.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got one a block from our house, and it is frequented, but it's far enough away to where I don't see any of the nonsense.
I don't have one. I got a 2-minute drive to Lakeview, though. I mean, I'm.
Yeah.
What the fuck you laughing about, Chris? Because I feel like
Ross, I just want you to stop talking like Bill Belichick, bro. Like I hope, like, why are you talking like that? Why are you saying the Twitter? Like you gonna say it's the face next? Like, what are we doing? You're not 50, man. Like, like it's okay, bro. I know you got kids, you know what I mean? You're married and the Pelicans are stressful, bro. But come on, man. Like you don't have to say the Twitter ever again. You didn't have to do that.
Let me pull up my internet.
Why are you talking like that? What's going on?
I just said it. I didn't think about it.
Hey, Ross come here talking about show me how to set up my Bluetooth. It's over.
Oh man,
fucking over. It's over.
Oh shit. Uncle Ross is crazy. All right, go ahead.
Y'all got some questions in the chat, man. Put them in the chat. I'm about to start. I tried to like highlight some of these.
Give it 3 questions. Pick the
Trey
best
ball.
3.
Yeah.
Trey ball.
Okay. Damn, this was a good question to the last. I can't even repeat that.
Oh, here we go.
All right. I think he's talking about Chris here. So shout out to Chris. I think he's talking about Chris.
He didn't say dude with the beard.
Yeah, it's under your mask.
He's talking to you.
The dude that did a whole show on the small ball lineup. I've been saying Herb defend the 5, Dejounte defend the point of attack alongside Zion, BI, and that person.
Yeah.
The point was solid until the last little end of the sentence. So, yeah. Chris, I'm gonna give you another shot, bro, because you had a solid question to the last. What do y'all think it takes for the front office to blow this team up and tank for Flag and maybe keep Herb and Trey and
Pipe
have
dream.
their 2, 3, 4?
Pipe dream.
Hey, I mean, I hope this don't happen, but Zion could be out for the season again, and they still would not.
Yeah, wouldn't do.
Throw this year. They would still talk themselves into believing that they could find a way to be a contending team. So no, nothing.
Stupid going stupid. Gotcha. Let's see. Okay. Since we stuck on BI, what team would he be most impactful on? Because he said the Knicks. It's a good question.
He said the Knicks?
Yeah, he said the Knicks.
No.
They got Mikal. They got I wouldn't say the Knicks.
I like Minnesota.
I was about to say Minnesota. Because you try to think about a place where his skill set could be best utilized like as a third wheel type, fourth wheel, hey, go score. Do what you're best at, just go score type situation. Alleviate pressure from like the other teams, from whoever your best player is. I agree.
In second place, Indiana Pacers.
Yep.
Yep. I mentioned that. I like that.
I agree with both of those. Good question. Those are good.
Other good questions in here, to be honest with you.
Y'all was still drunk from the Saints game.
Here you go, right here. Could Jemison start?
Yeah, Chris.
That's not a good question. Yeah, I mean, he could start at the balcony bar.
Dairy Queen.
He could start. He could start at Theo's, like security, just in case people get crazy. Like he could. I mean, there's a bunch of places he could start.
Averaged 11, 8, and 2 blocks per 36 minutes last year.
He can't start. He can't start for the Pelicans. Listen, man, nice guy, nice family. Just not a starting.
Does mom follow you?
Mayor from.
Yeah.
Does mom follow you on Twitter?
Yeah, I don't understand why. I haven't said anything nice about Trey Jemison, but I'm sure she's a nice.
Last year as a starter, he started 14 games last year, which is probably more than Theis started. Shot 57% from the field in those starts, 90% from the free throw line, 10 points, 7 rebounds in 30 minutes.
I don't.
Do you think the team is much worse if Club starts instead of Theis for those first 6 minutes?
Club.
No.
You don't think that's what I'm saying? We're no better, we're no worse, right? You agree?
No.
With that?
Yeah, no. It's to me, it's kind of the same until we see different. Like, I think that Theis has skill sets that his ability as a screen and having a patented screen could really help out this team. But you got to show me the other elements of his game that we think are going to matter, right? It's he's a average to above average, or at least for his position, corner 3-point shooter. In spurts, you'll be able, to get him to see him do that. But I got to see the other elements of his game that are going to matter defensively. How smart of a defender is he if he's going to be the last line of defense? We know he's not going to be someone that is going to specialize necessarily in rotating defensively and moving over with the amount of pick and rolls that we see in the game. How is he out of the drop? I mean, I have so many questions in regards to him that I guess are yet to be answered. What kind of communicator is he defensively? I know what he can do as a screener. I know what he can do in spurts as a 3-point shooter, specifically out the corner. But the other things that you would kind of need that position to thrive on, not a lob threat. Those are the things that I worry about when we're talking about his impactful or his ability to be impactful pre-trade deadline.
Russ, I got a question.
Shoot.
You call Trey club.
It's a bit of a double entendre there, because in theory he could,
He could be a bouncer.
he could be a bouncer, and he also has very heavy feet.
I hate this show so much. What if I said, what would you call Missy?
He's not deserving at this point in his career of a nickname. And to be honest, I didn't like. Let me ask you this. I'm going to answer your question with a question.
Let's do it.
All right, Justin.
Who had a worse summer league? Carlo 2 years ago or Misi this year?
I'm gonna say Carlo, because at least Misi ended up, I think, playing all the games. Like, they set Carlo ass down. Like, yo, you trash right now. Like, you fucking up the plan. You gotta sit down. I think that Trey's feet equals Missy's hands, though.
It's never what you
I don't
want to
think
say
that's
somebody
good.
to say
So-
about you. That is not what you want to be told about your hand.
Unless you like play soccer and that's like a benefit. All right. But
I like this one.
this question, I can't.
Yeah.
What do y'all think of a lineup of Dejounte, Herb, and Jose as part of a defensive lineup, especially when trying to play zone defense? I think it could work situationally.
Yeah, everything would have to be situational, especially with not saying just like Jose, but a lineup like that where if you have those three, pretty sure you're probably going to have Trey Murphy out there because you don't have necessary shooting. I mean, you do have Herb, but more of movement. Yeah, it could work. But who's going to be the last line of defense? It's all about who's around. Is it Zion and Trey? I guess
Probably because this would ultimately be like some of those lineups they were running towards the end of last year, and essentially Dejounte is replacing Dyson. You know what I'm saying?
Who?
Shout out Dyson.
Nah.
I did. Look, in all seriousness, I was watching that Eagles game today, and they got the Bond, who's like balling out, making every play for the first 3 games. I did have just a moment, just a brief moment where I thought, damn, if Dyson, like if this is same thing, a guy who couldn't play in New Orleans, like couldn't find time, goes somewhere else and balls out. But I know that ain't gonna happen with Dyson.
What's the percentage on that, Chris? What do you think? Dyson has a successful year in Atlanta, and what does a successful year in Atlanta look like for him?
That's a really good question, bro.
Said that twice.
I think Dyson just gotta he has to play. I think over somewhere around 25 minutes a game. Like I don't think Atlanta's going far. We got to see him really. I think a successful season means that he's fully picking up. I think off of a solid Olympic season or off season. I think he had some solid moments, but really dedicating himself to being the best that he can off ball, figuring out how to best help a star or a superstar talent like Trey Young. Figuring out what it looks like to be. I wouldn't say Derek White, but I'm just thinking of any guard or any wing in this league that doesn't really dribble the basketball, but that's more of a 3-and-D type of guy. How does he do that? What does that look like? So I don't know about but I for sure 25 minutes a game, and I think the motherfucker got to finally crack 10 points. He got to at least get 10 points a game on that team, and Trey Young got to help him find a way to make it happen. But I do think that he will have a successful season. I think he'll be a part of a better coach team, a team with a plan. And they'll probably appreciate him a little bit more.
Hey, if he playing 25 minutes a game, bro, consistently.
Yeah.
And he does not score 10 points a game.
Man, I don't get it, y'all. Like what the fuck did Royce like? I get that Dyson's the number 7 pick, but there are role we gotta at some point we gotta move past that when evaluating if he's a good player or not.
Well,
We got to.
No, we don't.
We do though. We absolutely do.
I think
100%.
Oh, he an incomplete player.
There's a bunch of them around the league.
9
The
games
Pelicans got a bunch of them.
last year. In 25 minutes, he averaged 7 points and shot 40% from deep.
listen, to even
Killed him.
that, Chris.
Killed him.
The evaluation was they lied to us. That's the fucking point. If they just would have told us that, Dyson was a 3-and-D player,
Yep.
right? Like he's gonna play the wing or he possibly can play the 4.
That was my gripe.
But you lied and said he was a guard to replace Lonzo. That he had a dribble. He's been a professional. He got a floater. Like you told me all of these things, and it was all a lie.
Yep.
He was not
Who told
ready
you
to
that?
play. Huh?
Who told you that?
The president.
Executive Vice President David Griffin.
So when did we start believing the things that he said?
Never.
And
but
so
I gotta hold you accountable to your lie, though.
so you holding Dyson accountable? Or you holding Griff accountable?
Both.
Because we had to figure that out for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we
Okay.
had so it took a year and a half to be like, wait, this dude can't dribble a basketball. Well, he's not a guard. So now I have to start evaluating him on, okay, we were lied to.
Mhm.
He ain't that.
Mm-mm.
He's
Okay.
something else.
Mhm.
But what is the something else? Because he hadn't really shown. I mean, like maybe there's some potential as a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah.
Like maybe.
But he wouldn't be the first player.
Lala, fix it.
Lala, there she is.
Shout out to Lala. He wouldn't be the first player that people lied about. Everybody lied about Lonzo, right?
Well, I'm not. All right, so we got to start. Somebody got to be held accountable to a certain extent. I'm not saying like I don't have hatred for Dyson. I thought he could be a really good NBA player. He does have talent. I always wondered. Matter of fact, I've asked multiple people around the Pelicans about Dyson. Just like, hey, bro, what is wrong? Because on defense, it's all instincts. Like it's all reactionary. But on offense, it seems like he thinks like he doesn't even jump the same. He's like, yeah, man, we know. Like we don't get it. We don't get why like his athleticism just dwindles when he has the basketball in his hands compared to when he's on defense and getting a rebound. He's 13, 14 feet in the air grabbing a board. Like that's mind-boggling to me, and it must be mind-boggling to them, and they see it every day.
Maybe he needed a new situation. We'll see. Maybe he needed to get the hell out of New Orleans. He wouldn't have, he wouldn't be the first player to lead New Orleans and turn into a better player. Nikhil needed it, so
needed a couple different places though.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
We ain't gonna see. But
Get us out here.
But they close it. You get the drops. You need. We got them all.
Yeah, company.
No,
you need company, or you need?
No, we're good. We're good on all that. But what about 5 seconds?
Oh,
you need to pay bills.
It,
All right,
You gotta run the intro, man.
You got it.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
I got you.
This is where we really miss Justin.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't like running the show. Oh, all right, there we go.
Just not getting us in and out of.
Audio Jungle.
Yeah. The plays was lagging behind. The plays was lagging. It was lagging. In closing, man, say Ross,
What?
how you feel about white running backs?
I really like where this is going.
Look, I mean,
Oh.
McCaffrey.
Yeah, talk to
Yeah.
me.
What's not to like?
Yeah,
Is that?
yeah. I mean, I'm watching still tonight. He all right.
Yeah, nah. See, he's a fullback.
Gotcha.
He's a fullback disguised as a running back from injury. See, can't count him.
Dang, y'all not gonna count. You're not gonna count it possible. It's like playing spades. Like
Yeah.
you might well get the one you can.
Yeah, nah.
I miss white running backs and white cornerbacks.
Well,
Do
you?
Yeah, man. Like what?
Mm.
Jason Sehorn was a dog. Like you know what I'm saying?
That was almost 2 decades ago, right?
That was a long
Right.
time.
Nah, see, I do miss the white. I don't really miss the DBs because there's been so few of them, but I do miss like the occasional white running back.
Yeah.
Other than McCaffrey's different,
Yeah,
but like you used to would run into like a Rex Burkhead motherfucker.
Yeah.
They're like,
Rex Burkhead.
for like 2 possessions, you'd be like,
Motherfucker,
hey,
stop.
Rex is a little
Peyton Hillis. Yeah, I mean,
like, he's like the Jose Alvarado of that. Like for a couple possessions, you're like, man, motherfucker ain't that bad.
Mike Allstott,
Fullback,
but I'm
Fullback.
saying,
those guys but those guys are always in the league.
Yeah. They look like former linebackers
Yeah,
converted
I'm
to
talking about
fullback.
like an actual run. I'm talking about a dude who lines up at the end of the eye, not the dude in the middle.
Who we missing? Right running back. Who we missing?
Eh,
Peyton Hillis.
Peyton
Well,
Hillis.
Yeah,
Didn't they give him the Madden cover one year?
Yeah.
that was fluky to me. That was a bit,
As we all found out to be true.
Yeah,
You don't like the white DB. I mean, you got John Lynch, right? Like you got
I got no
the
problem with the
safeties.
white
Let me just go safeties. Cornerback, nah, y'all need to play that position. But safety, like there used to be some dudes out there when we play football. You see a white dude that safety, he playing strong safety.
He going.
Yeah, he
kill you out there.
he trying.
John Lynch.
Yeah, he trying.
He'll try to kill you out
I
there.
got no problem with
I mean, it's one playing now.
Huh?
Yeah, well, he ain't John Lynch, but Harrison Smith in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Where your boy that was the boys that was in Philadelphia?
You don't think Harrison Smith's mixed?
Why you
see how he just threw him with us.
He's too good to not be mixed. That what you said? What?
You don't think he mixed?
You said if nothing else, even if Harrison Smith isn't mixed, he's like Jason Smith, white chocolate Jason Smith, like where
white
he's
chocolate.
where
Yeah.
he's
You've been around, brothers.
He like Chet Holmgren.
Chet Holmgren.
Chet's
You think Chet taking the funk? Nah, I think that's really Chet.
No, Chet was on an airplane wearing a do-rag tied to the front. That told me all I needed to know, bro. That brother different, man. Seasoning.
All y'all might have is Cooper Flag, bro.
He filthy though.
Yeah,
he filthy though. I'm trying to think of. Hold on. Wait.
I bet the Celtics is trying to figure out how to tank and win the championship.
James Conner white?
No.
Oh,
bro, wait. You see him on
he light skinned, bro.
Ross. They claiming?
No.
Bro, you see this? The seventh, the
Ross, they scream black.
They probably like,
bro, they got James
Conner.
Y'all shit's dead. No,
Yeah,
no. James
yeah.
Conner is no.
Hey,
Yeah.
let me before we get out of here, man. Oh, you about to fix it? All right, cool. They have James Conner on the white running back list. That's all I'm saying. Alec Ingram.
Yeah.
They must.
Tyler, your boy for the he white? Tyler Algier?
No, he's also black.
Nah, yeah.
Eight.
See, they're trying to help us out. See, that's why when Chris asked earlier,
Yo,
I'm just trying to make sure everything stays orderly here. I mean, because what counts, right? I mean, like what are we really like? I don't know, man. There's been very few good white running backs, but I sat here like I kind of ran out of gas after Rex Burkhead, to be honest with you.
I mean, your boy Danny Woodhead.
Yeah, another one.
Danny Woodhead.
Another one.
Crazy last name, but
unbelievable crazy last name.
Crazy.
I can't really think of nobody
Have the Saints
else, man.
have the Saints run out any like random white running backs?
They got a guy right here, man.
You got it back on. You're good.
Michael Burton.
I've never heard of that.
Who's that?
Me either, but he got a Saints uniform on.
Nah, man. I don't think the Saints have had a Caucasian running back in my lifetime.
That's crazy.
Somebody good. So wait, hold up. Wait. Now that we're here.
Now we here. Oh, we here. We potting?
Now that we're here.
Yeah.
Somebody had a white running back last year in college that might be in the NFL.
What's your boy name for it? No, I think
did Clemson have a white running back last year?
Oh, Shipley, Will Shipley.
Yeah,
he's got it. He's probably in the NFL somewhere.
What was it?
Yeah, he in Philly.
He was in college for like 7 years. So yeah, I mean,
yeah. Ship a backup. He the backup.
Ooh,
to,
they're asking if Taysom count.
Taysom should count.
He should count.
No, that's impossible. That does count.
He should count.
Hey, that's a bad
motherfucker for
that's
sure.
a bad moment.
Hey, he'd be the motherfucker that playing safety. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, nah, bro.
Start looking around.
Yeah, you keep your head on the swivel.
Hey, we might need
He
to.
would have been a fire strong safety.
Bro, it's nothing that dude can't do.
Yeah.
He whatever spot he played.
I think he would have been like Hall of Fame-esque if he played safety.
Think of him as like a linebacker.
Oh,
He'd be a fucking linebacker.
speaking of Hall of Fame, is Tyrann Mathieu Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure. Just
Yeah.
I said this a couple weeks ago. Like, I think
100%.
100%.
Nah,
100%.
1,000.
And if he keep going at this trajectory, he gonna be first ballot. For real.
Yeah.
Shout out to CD for ever thinking that he was even on the same like level or playing field. They don't even play the same game.
not, bro.
Like
He's not in the same stratosphere as Tyrann. Like, not even close. Not even.
No.
Man, I'll tell you this. CD has something that I will respect. He has irrational confidence.
he does.
Like what he sees when he wakes up in the morning, like in the mirror, is not what everybody else sees. But that's probably what makes him, good, serviceable, / somebody that's been in the league, 6-7 years now, 8 years.
No, he got cataracts for sure because he can't be watching the same tape that we watch.
Crazy as hell.
Can't be. Bro was hyped about, flipping Foster Moreau
Bro, he got
after
the
Foster
first
got the
down.
first down. I was like, he got the
fucking-
first.
He rode a bus in school. I could tell.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Short.
It was short.
Short.
It was-
Oh,
it was not the right.
yeah, it's time to end the show.
It's time to end it. All right, so look, check this out.
Mhm.
In closing,
Mhm.
in closing, find somebody who love you as much as Chris loved Dyson Daniels, and let me say this. Man, this morning my girl grandmother passed.
Damn.
So I want to say, man, shout out to Queen Marjorie Williams. Fly high. We appreciate your leadership. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, and we'll see you soon. And I'm going to end the show now.
All right.